Welcome to the Kafka installation lesson. In this lesson, you'll learn how to download and install Kafka, and the installation comes with Zookeeper, which we'll also use. You'll learn how to run Zookeeper and Kafka. You'll learn how to create a Kafka topic, send messages to that topic using the console producer, and display messages you just sent to that topic using the console consumer. And finally, you'll learn how to query Kafka from Presto using the Presto command line. We will use Kafka version 2.5.0, and we want to use the version built with Scala 2.1.3. By the end of this lecture, we'll have Kafka running on our computer, a single node. Again, this is not something you would normally do in production. In production, you want to have multiple nodes, but this is just for educational purposes. And with that, let's get started. Let's first open up a web browser and go to www.apache.org. Scroll to the bottom of this page and click on Kafka. Next, click on Download Kafka. Next, we'll go ahead and install the 2.5.0 version that was built with Scala 2.13. This is the version I tested this whole architecture with. Next, right-click on the suggested mirror site and select Copy Link. Now that we have the link to the download, open up a new terminal. Just as a quick heads up, by the time we're done with this lesson, we're going to open up 6 separate terminal windows. This will help us organize our work as we go through this lesson. I'll first create a folder for Kafka. Just like my Presto folder, I'll put it on my desktop. Please feel free to save it in a different location. Next, let's use the curl command to download Kafka. Let's paste that link that we copied from the Kafka download website. Next, uncompress the file with the tar command. Once the file has been uncompressed, let's navigate into the uncompressed Kafka folder. Before we go any further, let's set up the storage location for our Zookeeper and Kafka logs. As noted in the introduction to this lesson, the Kafka download comes with Zookeeper. One of the functions of Zookeeper is as a storage location for Kafka metadata. Kafka stores metadata in a Zookeeper cluster. Now, let's get the path to the folder we just created for the Zookeeper and Kafka logs. We're definitely going to need them. Copy the path to the Zookeeper logs. Go to the zookeeper.properties file and paste them as the value for the data_dir variable. This is the only change you need to make to this file. Next, go to the server.properties file and make 2 changes. For the first change, copy the path to the Kafka log and paste it as the value for the log.dirs variable. Secondly, add listeners equal plaintext : // localhost : 9092. If you recall, we used localhost : 1992 in our kafka.properties file as the value for the kafka.nodes variable. Okay, one more thing. Let's get the path to our uncompressed Kafka folder. Paste that path in the bash_profile file. Don't forget to use the source command to make these changes take effect for this terminal window. At this point, we are ready to run Zookeeper and Kafka. To kick this off, let's start Zookeeper with the zookeeper.properties file. This should start Zookeeper on port 2181. Next, let's open a new window and start Kafka with the server.properties file. This will start Kafka on port 9092. Once we have everything up and running, let's create a Kafka topic and test it. To do this, let's open up a new terminal window and create a Kafka topic called test topic. If you recall, in Presto's kafka.properties file, we set the variable kafka.table-names to test topic. Let's give it a replication factor and a partition count of 1. Let's run the describe command on the Kafka topic we just created. Next, let's run the Kafka console producer and enter in some dummy messages, sample1, sample2, sample3. Next, let's open up another terminal window and run the Kafka console consumer. We want to use this to confirm that the dummy messages that we created made it into test topic, which is the Kafka topic we just created. And we want everything in this topic, hence the from beginning option here. And now we're ready to kick off Presto. So let's open up yet another window and launch Presto. We need to start the Presto server so that we can query Kafka from Presto. Once we've started the Presto server, let's open up the final window, and from this window, we're going to start the Presto CLI and use that to query Kafka. Once the client is up and running, we can start querying Kafka from Presto. Let's do the typical things we've done before. Show catalogs, show schemas from Kafka to see the available schemas. Let's show tables from Kafka.default to see which tables are available in the default schema. We can see the test topic we just created, the same topic that we highlighted in the Kafka.properties file within Presto. And again, remember, in order for Presto to be able to query this topic, and for even this topic to show up in this list, we need to put it in the Kafka.properties file within the etc/catalog directory for Presto. And finally, let's select star from Kafka.defaults.test topic. Sample1, sample2, sample3. Now, just like we've done before, and I guess for consistency, let's just examine the information schema. If you recall, we've done this for every other setup we've done, and we don't necessarily have to do it, but let's just play around with the terminal and get familiar with querying Kafka from Presto. Let's take a look at the table called tables. And with that, we are done with this lesson. In the next video, we will learn how to load the data from Hospital C into Kafka. In this lesson, you have learned how to download and install Kafka, run Zookeeper and Kafka, create a Kafka topic, send messages to that topic using the console producer, and display messages from that topic using the console consumer, and finally, query Kafka from Presto.